Okay, this is the activity for 8.4, where we're going to be working with comparing surface areas and volumes of cylinders. So we have to review a couple of things first. First of all, to find our surface area of a cylinder, we have to think of the pieces that make up that cylinder. So if you think of a can, you have a top that is a circle. Top that's a circle. You have a rectangular center. If you were to cut the top off, and the bottom is also a circle. So this is our surface area pieces. Okay, to do our volume, which I'm going to write right here, that is going to be the area of our base times our height, which you guys just worked with this most recently. Otherwise, what we would do is pi r squared times our height. Okay, so this B is actually representative of that pi r squared. So it's being more specific. So I do have a calculator on screen I'll use for a part of it, but then it's going to be a lot faster for me to go ahead and use a calculator in my hand, so I'll kind of get it started at least. So here we have a cylinder that has a radius. So remember, radius is going to be half of your distance of 1 and a height of 1. So if we substitute in, I'm going to go ahead and do my volume for each of these first, just because it's quicker to solve, and then we'll go back and do our surface area. So to do our volume, we're going to substitute in 1 where we have our radius squared and 1 where we have our height. So we would do 3, oops, hence why this is going to be faster for me to do without my calculator on screen. So we're going to do 3.14 times our radius 1 squared is 1 times our height of 1, which gives us 3.14, and that's for the volume. Now where I have 1, I'm going to substitute in a 2 because they are giving us, sorry, no, I'm not. I'm going to do still a radius of 1. So let's erase this part off. We're still going to do a radius of 1, but this time the height is 2. So we're going to put a 1 in here, and this is now going to become a 2. So clear that. Like I said, this is why I'm going to use the 1 in my hand, because I have to click back and forth and keep changing. So I'm going to go ahead and just use my calculator in my hand. So we're going to go ahead and do 3.14, which is pi, times our radius is 1 squared, which is 1, times 2 for our height gives us 6.28. Okay, now we'll substitute in a 3 where this spot right here. So our radius is still going to be 1, but our height is going to be 3. So we'll put a 3 where h is. So 3.14 times 1 squared is still 3.14 times 3 gives us 9.42. So you can see the pattern that we're taking 3.14 because our radius squared is still going to be 1, and 1 times 3.14 is still going to be 3.14. So for this next one, I'm going to do 3.14 times the height of 4. So 3.14 times 1 squared times 4 gives us 12.56. And then the last one has a height of 5. So 3.14 times 1 squared times 5 gives us 15.7. Okay, so there's our volume. So now we're going to go back and we're going to review how to do surface area. So surface area has multiple pieces. Okay, surface area, we have 2 circles. So we're going to use our pi r squared for that. So we have 2 of those. And then our middle rectangle, this is going to be our height, but then to get this distance right here, that would be the circumference of our circle. So to do circumference, we have to do pi times diameter. Okay. So we are going to go through and substitute in. Our diameter is going to be, so if we do our radius, our diameter, I'm going to have to use for this one, is just going to be doubled or times 2. So each of these is now 2 as I'm doing this next part. Okay, because now I'm working diameter. Our height is the only piece that's going to change every time. So we're still going to have to use our radius squared. So 3.14 times 1 squared is 1. That's giving me 3.14 for each of these circles. Okay, so that part's not going to change in any of these because our radius is the same through all of these. In all of these situations, the radius is the same, the diameter is the same. So the only piece that's really ever changing is going to be this number right here. Okay, so if we do 3.14 times our diameter of 2, that's going to give me 6.28 for this top part. That part's always going to stay the same because the diameter is the same on all of these. So if I take that times the height of 1, it's going to give me 6.28. So the pieces I have for this first one are going to be 3.14, and there's 2 of those. And then my middle rectangle was 6.28. So I'm going to add all of those together. And that's going to give me 12.56 for this. Okay, so on my green cylinder, I have my 2 circles. Those are still 3.14 and 3.14, which together give me 6.28. And then to do my rectangle that's in the middle here, I have to do my 6.28 times 2 for the height. So 6.28 times 2 gives me 12.56 for this middle part. And then we're going to now add all 3 of these together. So if I add in those 3.14s, it gives me 18.84. Okay, so my next one, same thing. I have 3.14 for the top, 3.14 for the bottom, and then the middle rectangle is I'm going to have to take 6.28, which was this top right here, times a height of 3. So 6.28 times 3, and then I'm going to add that, which gives me 18.84. Now I'm going to add my 3.14s in there, which gives me 25.12. Okay, so for the next one, we have 3.14 for the top, 3.14 for the bottom, and then I'm going to do 6.28 times 4 to get that middle piece. Which is 25.12. And then we'll add in those 3.14s. When I do that, I get 31.4. 31.4. And then my last one, once again, we're going to have 3.14 for the top, 3.14 for the bottom, and then this middle rectangle part here, we have to do 5 times 6.28. So 5 times 6.28. When I do that, I get 31.4, and then we're going to add our 3.14s on that, and I get 37.68. Okay, so there we've done our surface area and our volume of those cylinders for each of those. As you move into part B, what's going to change is your radius is going to change each time, while I believe your height stays the same. So you're going to tweak just a little bit what you're doing from activity 1. So if you have to reference back to the formulas I used, you're going to have to rewind this part of the video and you're going to do part B on your own. Good luck.